finishing touches, little flat brush, and I'm going to go straight in and start putting in, here there's a little bit of shadow, for example, here. Just a light wash of color there, light wash of color here. These are just the finishing touches, little bits and pieces, really. A little bit of darkness, sort of shadow forming on the top of that shade like that here. You might want to put that in. Like that, simplified down, of course. And there's other things as well, like the windows. I'm just really going to pick up quite a dark color, and this is just pure black, and I'm also dabbing it on my palette, not on my palette, and the towel as well. Okay, and I'm just trying to get in extra contrast. There's a bit of hair or something like that, or even in the background, you can start emphasizing extra bits of darkness. Okay, extra little bits of darkness around the figures and what have you as well. Okay, let's have a look around. Here I thought a little bit of extra darkness would be good. Okay, so you're just trying to bring out those final contrasts that will make up that scene. Okay, blend them a bit more. Here's the legs of this figure here. Thought I'd just finish that off a touch like that. These kind of tables and things there. Really, these are the darkest sections of the scene. I'm putting in a bit of, little bit of shadow around the windows as well. And even perhaps, I wonder if I can add some details to some of these windows as well. Let's try, for example, a little line coming down. Oops, like this. But just a little marker, I suppose, for the edges of the window sills. Like this is a good idea, in my opinion. It helps to just bring out the details. And notice I'm skipping over the paper a bit. I'm not getting in all the little bits and pieces in here, especially as we get to the edges of the page, because I don't want the eye of the viewer to be too focused up there. I want it to be more down here. Okay. And wherever you think you could gain some extra contrast and detailing, drop a bit of that paint in. Here there's something, I've got a bit of something in here already. That's a shade in there. On the edge of these buildings as well, you notice just a touch of detail from time to time. Look a little bit of that building, the side of that building, just contrasting better. I can get in some details of some windows here. Okay, just off in the distance. I know they're not really there, but I'm going to put them in anyway. Okay, and of course the side of the building comes out sort of here, and you can do this, repeat this sort of pattern on the sides of the buildings to get in an indication of some windows like that. Working on a bit of that perspective by drawing some of those lines in, running on the side of the building, indicating the floors and what have you, like that. The trick is not to overdo it. You've got to be very careful here. Just touch and go, and because you can see some of this in the reference photo already, just these little windows that pop out the sides of the buildings. Okay, and so you want to be spontaneous with them and dry your brush off a bit as well while you do this. And essentially what I'm just dabbing it in there. letting the shape of that brush form the window. So it does a lot of that work for me. This stuff in the background as well, you've got a bit of that for these little buildings and what have you. So you can do the same thing there. Okay. Let's have a look at this one. Same thing goes. I'm actually going to have to put in a bit of extra detailing for these windows. I feel like they just don't look as detailed as the ones on the right. But look at that. I'm just going over the edges of it. Okay. Some of this stuff here as well, these little shaded areas underneath there, touch of detail. The window or the doors here as well. Look at that. Just a little bit of this door frame or something coming down into the ground like that. Simplified, of course. Simplified down here, 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 here. Okay, good. Bit of extra stuff around here as well. Like there's these little shades that cross over, and I want to really emphasize that better. I don't think I've done that as well as I could have. So I can go over that just one more time. It helps to draw that connection, okay? And also bring forth the buildings here. Okay. Looking at these shadows and thinking they probably could do with a little bit of extra darkness in them. Don't normally do this, but I'm going to go over the top of those shadows once more to darken them a little bit. Okay. And again, just try to bring some of that up into the building so that it makes sense. And some perspective lines that we had before, like running through the scene, this is what's going to help. I'm just going to grab a bit of paint and just dab it onto the ground in areas to create a little bit of this perspective, like that, running into the scene, just a bit of color. Not overdoing it, of course, but something like that. Okay, look at that, just all kind of these lines emanating from a center point that we'd specified earlier, roughly around here. Okay. You've got all these little bricks and stuff that pop out here and there. You can, of course, indicate some of this better than how I have, or you can just leave it, really. It's no big deal. Okay. Connect some of this up as well. You're really just drawing with that brush. Um, straighten up this building a bit just by adding in some darkness on the edge of it in some areas. Bit of hair and stuff on the figures. Just dropping in some color. The top of their heads, I find this helps. I just turn these into some little birds because I've dripped some paint on here. So this is just a little trick that I usually do to disguise the drips and things. Just turn them into birds. Nice sunny day in Melbourne, and and that's it. I'll call that one done.